All right, folks, so Garmin has just released their brand new Instinct 2X, which isn't just the largest Instinct yet, but it also brings features from their Fenix 7X, like the dedicated LED flashlight, as well as their training readiness feedback feature. And along with all the other features that the Instinct 2X has, like the huge list of sport profiles, a rugged build, and of course, insane battery life, it makes it a very capable watch and does a lot of what the 7X can do for half the price. But with the Fenix 7X Solar coming in at double the price of the Instinct 2X, it may be easy to think, well, it's double the watch, right? But that's not necessarily the case. There's actually some things that may make you want to choose the Instinct 2X over the Fenix 7X Solar, other than just price, of course. So in this video, we're going to talk about all the differences between the Instinct 2X and the Fenix 7X, talking about all the additional features that the Fenix 7X has that aren't available on the Instinct 2X, but interestingly, a couple features that do come on the Instinct 2X that aren't available on the Fenix 7X. And if you do find the information in this video to be useful, do me a favor and just quickly hit that like button down below. It's a small little thing that'll help this video and the channel quite a bit, and I appreciate it. Okay, so let's just go ahead and first talk about price. So the Instinct 2X comes in at $449, and then the Fenix 7X Solar comes in at double the price at $899. Now, I'm specifically talking about the Fenix 7X Solar, not these smaller versions or the Sapphire versions, and the reason for this is that it's the most one-to-one comparison to the Instinct 2X since they're similar in size, they both have flashlights, and they both have solar charging with similar power glass lens materials. But there are many other options when it comes to both the Instinct 2 range as well as the Fenix 7 range, where you can choose from different sizes, you can choose from solar or non-solar, and there's also a sapphire lens option on the Fenix 7 range. But for the sake of this video, we're going to be talking specifically about the Instinct 2X Solar and the Fenix 7X Solar without sapphire. Plus, the 7X Solar is double the price of the Instinct 2X, which just makes for a nice video title. So when it comes to dimensions, the Instinct 2X and the Fenix 7X are quite similar, where the Instinct 2X has a 50mm case, which is 14mm thick without the heart rate sensor, and then the Fenix 7X has a 51mm case, and it's 14.9mm thick without the heart rate sensor. So pretty similar in that regard, but where these differ a lot though is when it comes to weight, where the Instinct 2X weighs 67 grams and the Fenix 7X weighs 96 grams. And that's mainly due to the fact that the Instinct 2X uses a plastic/polymer construction, and the Fenix 7X integrates metal into the construction with a stainless steel bezel and back, which adds a bit of weight to it, but it also adds a little bit of durability. But both of these are very durable watches though, where both of them are tested to military grade standards, and both of these have a 10 ATM water resistance rating. The Instinct 2X does have some distinct design elements though that do have a lot to do with durability, like the bezel, which has a good amount of distance above the display, which in turn protects it. The Fenix 7X, on the other hand, it actually does have a slight lip that sits above the display, but it's not quite as drastic as the Instinct 2X. However, the Fenix 7X does have a metal bezel that kind of spills over to protect the lugs on the watch case. Now, when it comes to wearability and comfort, the lower weight of the Instinct 2X makes a big difference, where there's nearly a 30-gram difference between these two watches, and it's very noticeable wearing one versus the other. Of course, one definitely can't argue that the Fenix 7X has a more premium look to it with the metal construction, but hey, style is totally up to you, and one may prefer the look of the Instinct 2X versus the Fenix 7X. It's just kind of great that you have both options. Another thing that makes a difference when it comes to wearability and comfort though is the strap, where the Instinct 2X has an integrated strap design where it curves and wraps around the wrist, which helps it stay secure, which also aids it in getting more accurate heart rate since it prevents the watch from moving around on your wrist. The Fenix 7X, on the other hand, uses a more traditional strap design where it comes with a quick fit strap, but something to note here though is that although the Instinct 2X comes with these integrated straps, it actually is compatible with the same 26mm quick fit straps, just like the Fenix 7X. All you have to do here is just remove the stock watch strap and then reinsert the pins into the case, and then boom, you can use any 26mm quick fit strap at that point. So when it comes to wearability and comfort, I do have to give it to the Instinct 2X, but when it comes to a more premium look and feel, at least for me, the Fenix 7X stands out a bit more, but again, style is totally your preference. And then when it comes to the displays, these are quite different, but they actually do have some similarities. So both of these use Garmin's Power Glass technology, which integrates a solar panel along with a lens material that's based on Gorilla Glass. There is, of course, the sapphire lens option on the Fenix 7X Sapphire, but again, for the sake of this video, I'm talking about the non-sapphire version of the Fenix 7X. The Instinct 2X has a 1.1-inch memory in pixel or transflective monochrome display with a resolution of 176 by 176 pixels, and the Fenix 7X has a full-color 1.4-inch memory in pixel or transflective display with 280 by 280 pixels. The larger display with more pixels on the Fenix 7X does make a difference though, where there's just a lot more detail in many areas of the interface, and one area amongst many others where this can make a difference is with data fields during an activity, where you can have up to 8 data fields on the Fenix 7X and up to 5 on the Instinct 2X. Now on paper, the Fenix 7X sounds better, right, with more pixels and a full color display versus the monochrome display, but there is actually one scenario where the Instinct 2X has a slight upper hand, and that's when it comes to readability outside, especially in really bright conditions. You see, with a monochrome display, although it's not full color, being just black and white, it allows it to have tons of contrast since it's just black and white. It is, of course, a smaller display than the Fenix 7X, but in some situations, it actually could be easier to see depending on the conditions. And another thing that you may want to consider is that with their Power Glass technology, layering a solar panel on top of the display does impact brightness just a bit, where non-solar versions of these watches are just a little bit more clear and just a little bit more bright, but the difference seems to be a little bit more noticeable on the Fenix 7X since the display doesn't have as much contrast. But another difference with the displays is that the Instinct 2X does have a smaller display, but that does actually also allow for more room around the display for the 100% efficient solar panels. Where the Fenix 7X had this small strip around the display, where the Instinct 2X looks like kind of like a solar farm, and that does make a difference when it comes to battery life, which we'll talk about in just one second. But another big difference when it comes to the displays, though, is that the Fenix 7X has a touchscreen where the Instinct 2X uses an all-button interface. But don't worry, the Fenix 7X does come with the same exact 5-button configuration as the Instinct 2X. It's just that the touchscreen adds an additional way to get around the device whenever it's the most convenient. So when it comes to battery life, both of these get very good battery life, but there are some interesting differences between these two. So when it comes to just day-to-day battery life, using them as a smartwatch, if you don't happen to record any outdoor activities, you could get potentially up to 28 days with the Fenix 7X, but up to 40 days out of the Instinct 2X, and that's without solar charging. So again, very good battery life out of both of them, but the Instinct 2X does have the upper hand here, and that has a lot to do with the display, which requires a lot less energy. But where there's a substantial difference, though, is when it comes to the solar charging, where with the Instinct 2X, it has the potential for unlimited battery life with enough solar exposure, where the Fenix 7X, it can increase the total time before recharge, but it can't potentially run forever. And this has to do with the fact that the display on the Fenix 7X, it consumes a lot more power, as well as the fact that the solar panels on the Instinct 2X are just much larger. But interestingly, though, the Fenix 7X actually can get more battery life for recording outdoor activities, and that's with or without solar. Now, all you eagle-eyed viewers out there probably already noticed that the Instinct 2X has a battery life spec that isn't available on the Fenix 7X, and this is a very surprising difference between these two, is that the Instinct 2X, it has a multi-band or dual-band satellite chipset where the Fenix 7 doesn't. Again, I should also point out that the Fenix 7X Sapphire Solar Edition does come with the multi-band satellite chipset, but the non-Sapphire edition of the 7X Solar that I have right here does not. But getting back to a feature that both of these do share in common, though, is that both of these come with a dedicated LED flashlight, which has easily become one of my favorite features to come out and watch in quite some time. I seriously use the flashlight on these on a daily basis, and it's basically the reason why I tend to go with larger Garmin watches versus the mid-size versions, even though the mid-size versions fit my wrist a little bit better. Now, I did notice that there are some differences between these flashlights, though. So I guess, first of all, they call it a flashlight on the Fenix 7X, and they call it a torch on the Instinct 2X. So that's kind of interesting. But in addition to that, on the Fenix 7X, the white LEDs are actually farther apart from each other versus the Instinct 2X. And that seems to make the beam pattern a little bit wider on the Fenix 7X versus a little narrower on the Instinct 2X. And then another thing I noticed too is that the lens seems to be a little bit clearer on the Instinct 2X versus the Fenix 7X, but maybe not quite as clear as the Enduro 2. And what I'm talking about there, by the way, is that the Enduro 2 does have a slightly brighter flashlight than the Fenix 7X due to the lens on the Enduro 2 being a little bit more translucent. And it does also appear that the Instinct 2X flashlight may be ever so slightly brighter than the Fenix 7X, but that also could just be an optical illusion due to the beam spread. Either way, the flashlight is an awesome feature. Oh, and then both the Fenix 7X and the Instinct 2X do have the red LED light option in the flashlight settings, but there is also the option for the green LED on the Tactic 7, which is basically the special tactical version of the Fenix 7X, and then the Instinct 2X Tactical Edition also comes with the green LED, which is supposed to be more ideal for tactical situations. And then when it comes to sensors, both of these come with Garmin's 4th generation elevated heart rate sensor, but I actually have found a slight bit of difference when it comes to accuracy, and that has a lot to do with the difference in weight between these two, where I've gotten very good results out of the Instinct 2X and not quite as accurate results out of the Fenix 7X. And basically what happens here is that although both of these watches have the same exact heart rate sensor, heavier and larger watches, well, they have a tendency of bouncing around or moving around on the wrist due to the increased weight, which decreases accuracy. And then beyond just the heart rate sensor, both of these can track your blood oxygen saturation levels, both of these can track your stress, your respiration rate, both can track your sleep, and both also can track your HRV or heart rate variability. Both of these also come with Garmin's morning report feature, which is basically this screen that pops up every morning, giving you the information that you'd likely want to know first thing in the morning, like your sleep quality, HRV status, weather information for the day, as well as events from your calendar. And then on the performance and training feedback side of things, both of these can track your performance when it comes to VO2 max for both running as well as cycling. Both of these can estimate your lactate threshold, and both of these also do have a race predictor for common running race instances. In addition, both of these also have training status. So what this does is it gives you an assessment of how your past training is impacting your performance. So what it's looking for here are trends in your VO2 max, your HRV status, as well as your training load and other metrics to give you an indication of how your training is progressing. Now, something new though that makes its way to the Instinct 2X that comes from the Fenix 7 as well as some of Garmin's other high-end watches is their training readiness feature, which takes into account numerous factors including sleep, recovery time, HRV status, as well as exercise load to deliver a readiness score, which, as the name implies, indicates how ready you may be for your next training session. And to be honest, this was certainly a big surprise for me that they added this to the Instinct 2X because it's usually reserved for Garmin's other high-end watches, and it was kind of the same surprise when they added it to the Forerunner 265. And then for smartwatch features, they're nearly the same where both of these can receive notifications for texts and calls as well as from other apps, and then both of them can get weather information as well as calendar events from your phone. And then if you have either of these paired with an Android phone, you'll also be able to reply to texts and calls with predefined responses you'll set up in Garmin Connect. Reply functionality isn't available though if you have either of these paired with an iPhone, and that's just due to the fact that Apple is locking down that functionality to just Apple Watches. Oh, and then both of these also do have Garmin Pay for contactless payments. But where these differ though in terms of smartwatch features is that the Fenix 7X can store music offline from music streaming services like Spotify, Amazon Music, as well as Deezer, where the Instinct 2X doesn't have this capability. However, you still can control the music playing on your phone with the Instinct 2X as long as you're in range, as well as the Fenix 7X for that matter. And then in terms of activity tracking, both of these can track your steps, both of them can track your floors climbed throughout the day because both of these do have an altimeter. They can track your intensity minutes, which is basically how much time that you're spending doing vigorous exercise, your calories, as well as Garmin's body battery feature. But when it comes to tracking outdoor activities, so both of these do have Garmin's multi-GNSS chipset, which is so hard to say by the way, which can access 5 different satellite systems, but the Instinct 2X actually does have a slight upper hand here versus the Fenix 7X Solar, where the 2X has a multi-band or dual-band satellite chipset, where interestingly, the Fenix 7X Solar does not. Again, though, there is that slightly higher priced Fenix 7X Sapphire Solar, which does come with dual-band. But in terms of accuracy, both of these should do just fine in almost all situations, but where the multi-band comes into play is in really challenging environments where satellite signals could get a little bit iffy, like around really tall rock faces, heavy tree cover, or around really tall buildings where these satellite signals can actually bounce off those objects, or you may just not have a clear view of the sky. And that's where with the dual band technology, it can access 2 different satellite frequencies at one time, which aids in getting better accuracy. So not everyone may need that higher accuracy. In fact, we've all just done fine without for many years, but that's where the Instinct 2X does have a slight advantage over the non-Sapphire edition of the Fenix 7X Solar. Now, when it comes to activity profiles, this is, in a word, a little bit complicated. So both of these come with a ton, and I mean a ton of activity profiles with all the common stuff you'd expect, like different running profiles to lots of different cycling profiles, pool swimming as well as open water swimming, triathlon and multi-sport modes, plenty of gym profiles, lots of outdoor recreation profiles. The list kind of just goes on and on. But there are some differences between what profiles are available. It's not just that the Fenix 7X has more profiles than the Instinct 2X. That's actually not the case at this point, at least right now when I'm filming this video. So the Instinct 2X actually comes with some profiles that aren't quite yet on the Fenix 7X, like boxing and MMA, there's soccer, American football, there's basketball, and a few others that I noticed. In addition, at the moment, the new obstacle course racing profile hasn't made it to the Fenix 7X quite yet, but that has been confirmed to be added with a future update. So at the moment, some of the new profiles that were introduced with the Instinct 2X aren't quite yet on the Fenix 7X, but I'll have an update in the comments section down below if and when those profiles are added to the Fenix 7. However, there are some activity profiles that are on the Fenix 7X that likely aren't coming to the Instinct 2X, and these are profiles that they generally reserve for their higher end watches like sailing. There's a sail race profile as well as a sail expedition profile. And in addition, the Fenix 7X does come standard with a Jumpmaster profile for jumping out of airplanes, where the standard Instinct 2X doesn't have that. However, the Instinct 2X Tactical Edition does have the Jumpmaster profile. So realistically, at this point, with all the stuff I've gone over, the Instinct 2X really does keep up with the Fenix 7X in a lot of areas, display differences aside. But now we have to get to arguably the biggest difference between the Instinct Instinct 2X and the Fenix 7X, and that's where the Fenix 7X has full-blown topo and landscape maps built all right in. So with the Instinct 2X, when it comes to navigating, it uses breadcrumb style navigation. So what this means is that when you're out and about during an activity, it does track your route with kind of like a simple line. And then you also do have additional options where you can backtrack your route to get back to your start location. And then in addition, you can also load in routes or courses onto the Instinct 2X, which will help guide you along your activity. But with both of these, you're basically just kind of following along a line without much context. But with the Fenix 7X though, it has full-blown maps on the device, and this not only provides context to where you are, but it also has tons of other information built in, like street names and trail names. There's topographical information, there's landmarks and points of interest like parks and bodies of water. Heck, it even has businesses built in like coffee shops, grocery stores, and breweries. It really is kind of crazy how much information that they build into these maps. And along with that, the Fenix 7X also does have the touchscreen, which makes these maps even more usable, where it's just super easy to browse around the map to see what may be coming up, or if you just want to go out and explore. And basically, if you add that up with the color display, the more premium construction, as well as the music storage and playback, those are kind of the big reasons why the Fenix 7X does have a much higher price tag than the Instinct 2X. But that's not to say that the Instinct 2X isn't a capable watch. In fact, it's a very, very capable watch, and it's actually been absolutely fantastic for me since I've been using it. And that really does come down to two big reasons: the flashlight as well as the training readiness feature, which were big reasons why I was wearing the Fenix 7X. But those are just my thoughts, but I also want to hear from you. So is the Instinct 2X enough for you, or do you need the Fenix 7X features? Or have you been rocking a Fenix 7X but maybe wanted something a little bit lighter and always wanted the look of an Instinct but were missing some of the features? Definitely let us all know down in the comments section down below what you think. And on your way down there, if you found the information in this video useful, do me a favor and quickly hit that like button, and also subscribe to the channel for plenty more sports tech videos just like this that are coming soon. In the meantime, have fun out there, and we will see you in the next video.